Okay, so this is going to be a video for the notes of formations, all right? So the three ones we're going to talk about is actually there's going to be a fourth one. Is going to be translations, reflections, rotations, and what will be known as dilations. So those are the four ones we're going to talk about. I'm going to go through each step by step, and then I'm going to have you try some, and then you're going to ask me in class if you got the answer right, and then you can go on to the next part if you want. So, translation, all right? Translation looks like this, where it says you go from your normal XY and they make you move it in different places. So in this case, you see X plus a number. If you see X plus a number, it means go right that many spaces. If you see X minus a number, it says go left. Y plus a number, go up. Y minus a number means go down. So in this first one, it tells you to take your original item plus 6, so plus 6 means go right 6, so we're going to go right 6. Y minus means go down, so that means we're going to go down 3. So everywhere on all three of these points, what we're going to do is we're going to go right 6 and then down 3. So let me show you what I mean by that. So if I start right here with this object, you start counting. Ready? I'm going to count to the right. Each one of these little things right here, so from here to here is 1 because it's one little box thing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So I moved this point 6 to the right. Now I need to move it 3 points down. Okay? So I'm going to stay right here. I'm not going to make a marking or anything, but I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little dot right there because this is the new spot for my object. Now, same thing with this one. You're going to move over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll move down 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'll make a little point there. This one as well. Ready? I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6, down 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make my last dot. So now that I did it with all 3 of the dots, I'm just going to connect my dots. And now it looks just like this one, but it moved from here to here, okay? Now, I don't have them labeled right now, but I'm going to explain these. If I label this A, B, C, okay? If I label that A, B, and C, you moved your A from here to here. So I'm going to label that A again. But now we have to distinguish between this A and this A. So what we do is we make it a prime. How you make it a prime is you put a little apostrophe right there. Okay, this one right here came from C, so you go from here to here, so this is C prime. This one would be B prime, okay? Same idea. Let's move on to this one. Okay, so we have X minus 2. So X minus 2 tells me that I need to go left. Y plus 3 means I need to go up, so I'm going to be going left and up. All right, so I'm going to start with this object right here. Okay, so I'm going to go left 2. I'm going to go with all these points 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put a little dot. Same thing with this one. Left 2, up 3. Same with all of these. I'm going to keep going left 2, then up 3. Until I end up with the same shape, just moved. Connect your dots. And it should look like that. Okay? So now I want you to try these two right here. Yeah. So I want you to try these two right here. So pause the video, do these two, then ask me in class whether or not you got these right. Okay? The next part is finding a rule. So we're going to essentially do the opposite of what we just did. Okay? So with every rule, remember, we have these things set in place. If we wanted to go right, we had to do x plus a number. If we want to go left, it's x minus a number. If we want to go up, it's y plus a number. If we want to go down, it's y minus a number. So what we need to look for is, one, find our first shape. So if you see right here, it's an A. This one has an A with a dash. That means that's A prime. So this is the copy, this is the original. So that means we need to go from this point right here to this point right here. So first we got to figure out, are we going left or right? So let me start with this. You always start with x comma y, draw an arrow, and we're going to do x, and we're going to figure out, are we going to do plus or minus? Well, to get from here to here, I need to be going right, and then I need to be going down. Well, since I know x plus is right, I know I'm going to be adding. So let's see. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm directly above the A prime now. So I go from here to here. So I'm directly above it, so I only moved over 3, so that'd be x plus 3. Now let me see how far I have to move downwards. I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went down 6. And since we know y moves up or down, we know it's going to be a y. Down means minus, and since we moved down 6, it would be y minus 6. So that's what our rule would be for that one. For this one right here, we do the same idea. Okay? Here's A prime. So that means we're going from here to here. So let me start out with my thing, x comma y. Okay? So let's start with my x. Am I going left or right? Well, if I'm going from here to here, that means I have to go left at some point. So I know it's going to be minus this time instead of plus x. So I'm going to count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm directly above the A after I've counted over 7. So it'll be x minus 7. Okay, so we stopped right here. And now let me count down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went down 4. So that's y minus again. Okay? So I want you to try that one. Try these two down here. And let me know how you've done. Okay. The next thing is reflections. Okay. So these are a little bit different. What you notice is you have an x and a y. If you have x equals just a number, what that means is it makes a vertical line at that value of x. If you have y equals some number, it means you're going to have a horizontal line where that value is on y. For example, in this first one it says y equals negative 2. Well, I know it's a y equals, so I know I'm making a horizontal line at where y is negative 2. Well, negative 2 is right here. That's on the y-axis. Well, the thing is that technically negative 2 is the y value for negative 2 is the same all along this line right here. So if I draw a line, a horizontal line along here, no matter what point I pick, so if I pick this point right here, or I pick this point right here, or pick this point, it doesn't matter. The y is constant, it's the x that changes. The y is constant, but it's the x that changes, so that's why it's a horizontal line. Now, how do you reflect an object from here to over here using this line right here is you look at it. How far away is this object from the line? So, first I'm going to label this A, B, C, D, and E for a reason I'll show you right here. E. E is how far away from the line we created, not the x-axis, but the line we created. So let's count. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from here to here is 5 spaces. So what I'm going to do is the same exact thing, but in the opposite direction. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this becomes my E prime, or the copy. Okay? Let's do the same thing with D. D is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do the same thing away from the line. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This becomes D prime. Same thing with C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do the same thing away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? I'm not going to do the rest because you should be able to do those on your own if you need to. But that gives me C prime. This gives me D prime, and this gives me, or no, that doesn't give me D prime. This gives me B prime, and this gives me A prime. What you'll notice is the A went from up top to the one below, because it's like if you took this object and you flipped it across the line on here. Okay, so it's just like flipping it across the line. Everything's going to change. So for the B went from up here to down here. Okay, because we flipped it. Now this next one is x equals -5. So we know x equals is a vertical line. X equals 5 at this spot right here. So I'm going to draw a little line. I'll put it back on the screen. Okay, so you have that spot right there. Now this is the tricky part. Okay, so first I'm going to label this A, B, C, and D. Now, over here, the line did not go through the object at all. So over here, the line did not go through the object at all. This time, it does. So this is what it means to reflect this object. It means anything that's on this half of the line will reflect to this half of the line. Anything on this half will reflect to this half. For example, A. A is exactly 1 away from the line we created. And since it's on this side of the line, it needs to go to this side of the line. So we count 1, 2, 1 to the actual line, and then we count 1 away from the actual line. Okay, so that becomes our A prime. The B is 1 to the line this way, so we count 1 away from the line in that direction. Same with the D, and same with the C. 1, 2, 3, so we got 1, 2, 3. Okay? So the C going from over here to over here as C prime. This D went from there to over here as D prime. This would be B prime, and this would be A prime. Okay? So I want you to try these two and these two. Once you get done with those, let me know, and then I can check them. So pause the video till you get to that, because I'm going to move on to what will be next, which is rotations. All right, next is rotations. Now, this takes a little bit of explaining because of how I phrased it. I try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to know what you're supposed to do. Now, we're only going to be doing 3 major rotations, 90, 180, and 270, okay? To do each of these, you have to understand what I mean by rotation. Rotation means if I took this object and I tied a string to the object, and I tied it to the origin, which is right here, as I move it, it's going to change directions as I rotate it around the graph. Now, we have 3 different types we're going to talk about. We're going to do 90 degrees, 180, and 270. All these talk about quadrants. Now, everything has 4 quadrants. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Okay, so they're sectioned up by the x and the y axis. So when I say to move 1 quadrant, that means go counterclockwise that many quadrants. So it would go from here to here. Or with this one, it would go from here to here. That's what it means to move a quadrant. If it says to move 2 quadrants, you count 2 quadrants, 1, 2. If it says 3, you count 3, 1, 2, 3. Same thing with this. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, the first one says rotate 180 degrees. So it says move the object 2 quadrants. So that's going to be 1, 2. So we know we're going to end up here in this little quadrant down here in the lower right-hand corner. And it says flip the numbers. Now, this is what I mean by flip the numbers. First, find the coordinates of all 3 points on this triangle. So first, A is going to be 7, 6. So it's going to be negative 7, 6. B is going to be 7, 2. Negative 7, 2, I mean. And then C is going to be negative 4, 2. So this is exactly what we're going to do with this. We're going to rotate this by using these points. Now, we're going to go to this thing. And I told you to flip the numbers. Okay? So this is what it means by flipping the numbers. So the 6 becomes that, this says keep the numbers the same. So this is what it means by keeping the numbers the same. So it's going to stay as 7, 6. This is going to stay as 7, 2. And this is going to stay as 4, 2. Now this is what I mean by make sure, okay, so this is what it means. What we're going to do is we're going to pretend all of these negative numbers on this side are positive. We're going to pretend all these negative numbers are also positive. So technically every way, if you go up it's positive, down is positive, left is positive, right is positive. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys to think of it as. So what we're going to look at is this object is going to move down here. So our first point, since we're keeping the numbers the same, is going to be 7, 6. I know it says negative 7 right here, but we're going to pretend all of these numbers are positive as well. So we're going to pretend all these numbers are positive. So I'm going to go to 7 and go down to 6. I'm going to put a little point. I'm going to call it A prime. Next one will be 7, 2, 7, 2. This one will be B prime. And then 4, 2. This would be C prime. Okay? You connect your lines. And as you can see, what it looks like is I took this triangle, I rotated it, and I rotated it again, so now it's upside down right here. So that's what it means by rotating 180 degrees. This time, we're going to rotate 270. 270 says move the object 3 quadrants counterclockwise and flip the numbers this time. The last time we kept them the same, this time we're going to flip them. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. We're going to end up back here. Okay? So I'm going to label all my points. A is going to be 3, 6. B is going to be 5, 5. C is going to be 5, 3. D is going to be 3, 2. E is 1, 3. And F is 1, 5. Now, this is what I mean by flipping the numbers. Your A prime is going to now be 6, 3. Okay, you just flip up the numbers. B prime will still be 5, 5 since flipping them doesn't do anything. C would be 3, 5. D would be 2, 3. E would be 3, 1. And F would be 5, 1. Okay? So what you do with all these is you're going to look down here. Remember, we're going to pretend all these numbers are positive. These are still your y's, and these are still your x's. All right? But we're going to still pretend they're all positive. So the first one is 6, 3. So we're going to go 6 down to 3, a little dot. We're going to call that A prime. The same thing with B prime. Go 5, 5. C prime would be 3, 5. D prime would be 2, 3. E prime is 3, 1. And F prime is 5, 1. And so now we got all our points. Connect the dots. And now essentially what you did is you took this object, you rotated it like that, it rotated like that, and then it rotated like that. So that's what your end result should look like. What I want you to do now is I want you to do these two up here. Okay? So do these two up here. You're going to skip these. Okay, you're going to skip these, and we'll meet back where we're at dilations. But do these two, and then let me know. Okay. Now, we're going to go to dilations. So what is a dilation? A dilation means that we're going to make something either bigger or we're going to make it smaller. Okay? Bigger or smaller. So, how you can tell whether you get bigger or smaller is you look from the first one to the second one. Obviously, if it's from going from a big size to a small size, that means our dilation is going to get smaller. If it's going from a small size to a big size, then it's getting bigger. Okay? But you always go from left to right. Okay? So, our first one, our image over our pre-image. The image is always the second thing. It's like the image of a camera. The pre-image is the first thing. So in this case, our image was 5 because this is the length of 5. Our pre-image was 15, which is 15 right here. So technically we have 5 over 15. If we reduce this down, we would get 1/3. So our dilation is 1/3. So the second thing is 1/3 the size in your sides as the 15. Same thing with these. Okay, this is the pre-image. This is the image. Your pre-image is 12, your image is 3. So you're going to take 3, you're going to put it over 12. You always put the second thing over the first thing. If you reduce that down, you get 1/4. Okay? Finally, this last one. We always go from the second object, not the smallest, but the second object to the first object. So it'll be the 16 over 4, which means your dilation was 4. Okay? Same thing with here. It's going from bigger to smaller, so it'd be 6 over 9. So it'd be 2/3. Okay? Alright, now let me show you what I mean when I say a dilation of an actual object. Now, so we have the dilation, and I'm saying to dilate by 3. So that means it's going to get 3 times its size. Now with a circle, it's a little bit harder to do than the other ones, but this is what we do. You find the 4 points that you can actually tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to tell those 4 points. This one's going to be 0, -3. This one will be -3, 0. The one above it, this one right here, is going to be 0, 3. And the last one's going to be 3, 0. So what you do is you take the dilation number and you multiply every number by the dilation number. So in this case, we're going to multiply everything by 3. So first we're going to take this 0 and multiply it by 3. Anything times 0 is still 0. This -3, we're going to multiply it by 3 and get -9. This -3, we're going to do the same, get another -9. 0, get 0, 9, and then get 9, 0 again. Okay? So, what we do from there is you graph these points. Connect them, try to make the shape as best as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. Mine's not going to be even close to being perfect, but you essentially get the point. Alright? It got bigger. Alright, I'm going to skip this one because it doesn't work out that well, and I'm going to go straight down to this one right here. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to find all 4 of our points. Okay? First one's going to be -8, 4. The next one's going to be 0, 8. Next one's going to be 4, 4. Next one's going to be 8, -8. Okay? So those are our 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 3/4. Now, all you got to do in your calculator is take something like 0. Let me show you what I mean. If I was going to do this -8, this is exactly how I'd multiply it by 3/4. I would take -8 and I'd multiply it by 3 divided by 4. Okay? That's going to give me -6. I do the same thing with 4. 4 times 3 divided by 4, and that gives me 3. Okay? So I just got my new point. It's -6, 3. This will give me 0, 6. This will give me 3, 3. And this will give me 6, -6. Okay? So now I'm going to graph these points. You're going to get -6, 3. You're going to get 0, 6. You're going to get 3, 3. And you're going to get 6, -6. And connect my dots. And then it's going to look like that. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you should get started on the packet.